So, after watching Yura play on the playground on a mechanical horsey while plotting world ending catastrophes, I have to say we can all rest assured that he is legitimately the biggest threat that Kagurabachi has to offer and one of the most terrifying characters in manga that I've seen in the last couple of years. Listen, I don't know what else to say. If you're able to ride a horsey while maintaining all of your aura, then you're just built differently. It is what it is. But it seems like he might not be the only person that's built different in the Hishaku, because as we find out in this latest chapter of Kagurabachi, Hirohiko might not be leaving the series as early as we thought, and I'll definitely admit to being wrong on that one. Because the conversation that we get with Yura as he's squeaking back and forth on the cell phone is that he believes that the Kamunabi are pretty easy to read. The fact that they were desperate enough to include Chihiro in their defense against the raids against the sword blade wielding temples basically spells out to Yura that not only are they short on manpower, but they are very worried about what's to come. And if this war is really about to break out, it seems like everything going forward, Chihiro protecting Aruha and Somura all being in the same temple, and the Hishaku admitting that they have a trump card, this is all going as I planned. He even admits that even if all 4 temples were to end in failure, it's really not all for naught, because the main point of this mission was to accelerate Hirohiko's development. But even more importantly, he's been able to confirm that despite sending as many of their different guards to all of these different temples, they have not laxed their guard on the Tokyo headquarters whatsoever, which basically makes him think that they will never stop protecting the Shinuchi wielder and putting all of their maximum power on him at all times. Now, it makes me think that with how much effort they're putting into not just the Shinuchi, obviously it's one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful enchanted blade, but they're also putting a little bit of effort on finding the Shinuchi's wielder. Whether this is just because the Shinuchi's wielder needs to die so they can use the Shinuchi themselves, or because the Shinuchi wielder is someone that's sympathetic to the Hishaku cause, we have yet to see, because not for nothing, that guy was more than willing to just start abusing the Shinuchi's power as soon as it was awakened at the Rakuzachi and just start killing people for no reason. So I don't know if this guy's the best guy either. Let alone there is that huge theory circulating online that this Shinuchi blade wielder might actually be related to Sojo just based off, the fact that they look a little bit alike. Now, who knows if this is true, but we do know when Sojo was alive and he was fighting that sorcerer who puts you in illusions, Sojo was put into an illusion of a flashback of a bunch of people dying in like a very dark, destructive way, and it's possible that that was the Shinuchi happening. So maybe this is Sojo's brother or someone that caused that to happen to Sojo. The way that the Seitei War is and how this world that Hokuzono has built is building, it seems like every small little event leads to another event. Every cause has an effect. And if that's the case, it would also make sense why Sojo grew up to have such a bastardized interpretation of Rokuhira's will and be like, yeah, they're all for death. I'm going to become the strongest death dealer. And like, speaking of Sojo, I think the fact that the secondary goal of this raid is to accelerate Hirohiko and turn him into a person that is not only better controlled by Yura and the Hishaku, but is able to become a potential enchanted blade wielder himself and grow into this all-powerful being that Yura has supposedly been raising from a very young age. Because after losing Sojo, they were down not only an enchanted blade wielder, but with Chihiro taking Mei back, they've been basically at a lower power level since that moment. And again, it's basically confirmed that if they want to storm the Tokyo HQ and actually either get the Shinuchi under control or get the Shinuchi wielder on their side, they're going to need at the very least the power of an enchanted blade to do so. Especially after seeing how easily the Datenseki crystal users were handled in this short little arc so far, they're gonna need something better than that. So not only are they focused primarily on getting these enchanted blades to wielders on their side as quickly as possible, they're setting their sights on the main Kamunabi HQ right after all of this. So who knows how long this assault is planned to last. On Hirohiko, it seems like Hirohiko was either raised by Yura from a young age or was kidnapped and turned into a whole Stockholm Syndrome situation where now he's just a pawn that Yura can use Yura specifically mentions that he has not let Hirohiko experience the outside world for a long time. Hirohiko has just been building his bloodlust, building his killing abilities, and learning terrible ways of accomplishing things. And has Yura so interested in Hirohiko isn't his origami magic, because even Yura says it's kind of underwhelming. It's not really strong. What made me interested in Hirohiko was how quickly he mastered it and how exceptional he is at using it and making it even more versatile than a normal origami sorcery power should be. Those paper cranes are pretty cool, and they're great for fighting in like a group battle or in crowds, but as Chihiro showed last chapter, on one-on-one, that origami sorcery isn't shit. But Yura hoped by being in charge of this raid and being in charge of all the forces and actually commanding different things and making different moves, not only would this allow Hirohiko to grow, adapt, and develop, it would allow him to experience this war in real time as opposed to just learning about it. And we do see this development in real time, because despite missing both of his arms, Hirohiko is still alive and breathing and facing down the barrel of Chihiro's sword. Hirohiko is having the hardest time understanding why Chihiro doesn't agree with his philosophy. He thinks we're both killers. We're both people that have taken blood and taken lives without thinking twice about it. You and me should be the same. You and me should be best friends. But Chihiro denies that, because the thing is while Hirohiko, as we find out, has been sheltered and kept inside for who knows how long, Chihiro has experienced the outside world and has learned important lessons. Especially with bringing up Sojo before, Chihiro learned that if someone doesn't think the same as you, that doesn't make their interpretation of things wrong. Sojo's belief that Rokuhira made the blades for absolute death and destruction, that was what Sojo believed and what Sojo was putting all of his effort into, and Chihiro had to learn to not only accept that, but defeat that. In the world of ideas, in the world of battle, you can have your own beliefs and everyone's perspective is valid. It's the people that fight to the death over their beliefs and are able to have the strength to conquer other beliefs to prove their own existence make all of the difference in the world. Despite the fact that they both kill, Chihiro and Hirohiko will never be the same. Chihiro kills for justice, for revenge for his father. Hirohiko kills because he wants to, or because that's what he's always been told to do. It's not the same by any means. Hirohiko has no value on life, whereas Chihiro is the exact opposite. Which, through this loss, Chihiro is able to teach Hirohiko, and despite Hirohiko believing this to be friendship, what he actually learns is the reason why we're fighting, why me and you are fighting to the death, is because we're different. Our beliefs are different. They don't have to be the same, but the fact that we are able to fight to the death and prove them against each other makes us the same on some level. So learning that definitely set off Hirohiko's dopamine receptors. He loses his mind and immediately just starts spilling the beans to Chihiro. He's like, hey, you know what? The Hishaku has 10 members, and I was the leader of this charge specifically so we could find enchanted blade wielders. And this is all going according to Yura's plan, who's not worried about anybody. In fact, honestly, the only person he is worried about is Shiba, who the other Hishaku member is looking for. More potential man, off-screen glaze for Shiba, who we don't even know where he is at this moment, but I hope we see him fight soon. But Hirohiko isn't revealing these secrets because he's lost. Hirohiko is revealing these secrets and going in line with how Yura feels about the situation, because with everything set up perfectly, he feels like now he's won. Because despite him not wanting this trump card to come out, it seems like Yura has officially launched the trump card, because as we switch back to Senkutsuji Temple, as Somura is taking care of all of those lame little Datenseki crystal users, suddenly a bunch of trees break out and almost destroy the entire temple in like one single go. That original sorcerer, the first Hishaku member we ever saw, has finally made themselves present and is getting on the battlefield to fight Somura, which is pretty scary seeing how much damage he was able to do. Somura is a badass, don't get me wrong, but the death flags are waving. And learning that there are 10 whole members of the Hishaku, 4 of which we have never even seen before. We've seen the ones that have killed Rokuhira. We saw the 2 that were at the train station, Hirohiko and the other Hishaku member. Scary to think, what if they're sending these people to the other temples? What's going on at the other temples? We're so focused on Senkutsuji, Aruha, and Somura, we don't even know what's going on with the other 2 people. The Hishaku have plenty of reinforcements, and as we also see in the chapter, they are already anticipating that 2 of the enchanted blade wielders are going to die. Whether that be Aruha and Somura, with Mr. Treehugger fighting them and killing them because Hakori is still still recovering and hasn't finished recovering. They can't recover on the fly either, so the fact that this big battle between Somura and the Tree Hugger going on, it's completely interrupting them, and they cannot continue their plan, getting them their enchanted blades first. Who is going to get the enchanted blades first? Is missing arms Hirohiko gonna somehow regenerate and gain his blade? And who is the other Hishaku member that is waiting for an enchanted blade as well? Is it Yura? Is it someone we haven't seen yet? There are a lot of questions that this chapter has immediately started to build up and has added a lot of stakes to the already climactic arc that we're going through. Because as soon as Iruha and Somura die, if they do, these Hishaku members are guaranteed ready to start that contract with the enchanted blade as soon as possible. And however Hirohiko gets his arms back, he admits that he's sorry for not coming fully prepared, and now with this enchanted blade and Yura's glaze of saying that he's going to learn very quickly, Hirohiko with the enchanted blade may become everything that we wanted Sojo to, replacing Sojo as Chihiro's foil and becoming a Hishaku member that will literally oppose Chihiro at every step, and they can learn their enchanted blades together. We are just gonna have to wait and see what happens next week in Kagurabachi. Thank you guys so much if you made it all the way to the end of this chapter, and definitely feel free to comment and let me know what your thoughts are in going forward of the future of this series. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe if you don't want to miss any future Kagurabachi videos or any other series you may read weekly or monthly, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.